So this is the character creation for ESO. Um, you've got gender and voice, obviously. The alliances are the Daggerfall Covenant, the Aldmeri Dominion, and the Ebonheart Pact. Now, when you get the game, choosing your alliance chooses your race. I have the extra pack that allows me to play as any race in any alliance, and I also have the extra pack that allows me to play as an Imperial. Let's switch back to Breton for now. Under the Daggerfall Covenant, you can play as Breton, Redguard, Orc. Under the Aldmeri Dominion, you can play as High Elf, Wood Elf, and Khajiit. And under Ebonheart Pact, you can play as Dark Elf, Nord, and Argonian. Beyond that, you have, all different kinds of stuff with body type and all that. You can change all these different sizes and skin colors and body markings, face structure, all kinds of different stuff with the head, age, hairstyle. Let's take that mohawk away. Let's make our dude not super old. Now he looks like Vern Troyer. But yeah, I wouldn't say, I don't know that you could spend hours in character creation. I'm not the kind of person who does that anyways, but the character creation is pretty in-depth. I'd say probably more than Skyrim, even if only just by a little. You got face stuff, eye color, eye size, angle, all this kind of different stuff. The cool thing is here, you can preview veteran gear. If you see it on the bottom, it says R2 to preview veteran gear. And that's a really cool thing. But before we go into that, actually, let's talk about classes. So this class here is Dragon Knight. It's the first class I played with. It's kind of a fighter, tank kind of role. When it comes down to it, each class gives you a set of 3 skill lines. So, for example, the Dragon Knight has Ardent Flame, Earthen Heart, and Draconic Power. You can take skills from all of those, or you can do just one. You can do whatever you want. Let's say you're a Dragon Knight who wants to use two-handed weapons. Now, you don't just have a menu where you pull up skills and you have every single skill that you've learned available to you. If you're a sorcerer, you can't use Dragon Knight abilities, and vice versa. You can, though, mix and match different skills from different lines. For example, say you join the Fighters Guild. You're going to get a skill line for that. You can choose any abilities you want from that when you unlock them. Same with the Mages Guild. Same with, I believe it's called Soul Magic, which is basically just kind of helpful things that you unlock along the main story. But back to the Dragon Knight, the 3 skill lines. Essentially, Ardent Flame is just kind of a flame sorcerer, like a flame fighter sorcerer type skill line. You get this really cool ability called the Fire Chain, where you shoot a chain made out of fire from your hand and grip an opponent and pull them to you. The Earthen Heart is kind of like you can build rock armor around yourself. You can punch enemies with a fist from the ground. It's called Stone Fist. And then Draconic Power is, I think that's one where you have like talons, and you can different kind of dragon-like abilities. And then, of course, you can delve deeper into skill lines, like I said, Association, Mages Guild, Fighters Guild, and weapons. So, like, if you're a two-handed sword user, you will be earning experience in two-handed swords, and two-handed swords have their own skill line, so you can get the move. I believe there's one called Carve, or maybe it's Cleave, and it's basically, it allows you to pretty much one-hit knock out somebody. The different classes are Sorcerer, who you'll have Daedric Summoning, you can get Daedric Pets, Dark Magic, which allows you to use kind of like Soul Gem attacks, and Tempest, which allows you to do lightning attacks. Nightblade is the Stealth class. That's going to be that's pretty self-explanatory. That's stealth. You get a couple drain health abilities, and then Templar is kind of a cross between a tank and a healer. They have an Adric Spear ability where they kind of summon this Spear of Light, and that's what they use, and then along with their weapons. Back to what I was saying earlier with the preview veteran gear, This is really cool. You get to see what you look like further down the line. And really what we have here as far as why these are coming out different is these are the separation of heavy armor, light armor, and medium. This is heavy, as well as the Templar is heavy. It's just differently colored. And then you've got light armor and medium armor. And it's different. You'll get different styles across different races, which is super cool. And eventually you can learn the others' races' styles. But also what you won't see here is styles such as Daedric, Ancient Elf, Primal. So as you can see, there's some pretty cool endgame armors to be getting here. And I'll go deeper into armors and stuff when we go into crafting. I didn't really show that one at all, did I? There we go. I like that one. Cool helmet. There's some Nord stuff. I really like this stuff. The High Elf armor is really cool. Khajiits have cat helmets, which is pretty hilarious. And then the Imperial. Now, Imperial you cannot play without getting the DLC for them. But when you do, Imperials can play under any alliance because they do not have a specified alliance. Now, after this character creation, you go straight into the tutorial where you wake up in this area that you see kind of around us, which is Cold Harbor, Molag Bal's realm. And you escape, you go through how to attack and all that stuff, and then you escape from Cold Harbor. So I'm not going to do the tutorial because I've done it 1,000 times already, and I don't want to spoil anything anyways. So that's our first video, the character creation. It's pretty great. It's not super in-depth, but it definitely satisfied me, and I know it satisfied a lot of other people. The only sad thing about it is your name will not be when you're playing, because you have to finalize your character by choosing a name. And when you're playing, people will not see your character name. They'll see your PSN name. So people see me as VP-Villainous, my PSN username, even though my character name is Mr. Villainous. It's not a big deal, but when they make you pick a character name, you expect that people will see it. There are a couple places you see it, like in menus, but other than that, it's not really a big deal. The only problem is you can't use the same name as someone else. So even though people aren't running around seeing those character names, you can't double up on them. So the later you wait to make a character, and I've had this issue, it takes a while to pick your name because most of them are already taken. But other than that, it's a pretty great system. And next, we'll be moving on to stuff like crafting and combat. All right.